Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for the Marvel vs. System 2-player card game. This is the Legacy box. So if you've seen some of my, you can check out my how to play video if you want to know kind of how the game works and all that. Check out the core game. See like the beginning of the set. And this is an interesting, different big box set, or I guess medium box set. So you have 200 new cards. But unlike we've seen the other videos, this one does require you have the core set, or at least one of the other big box sets for sure, because it does not contain enough. It has enough cards to make a deck, but it doesn't have enough of each thing. What Legacy did was the start of their crossover series, so they went through the first 4 teams from the base set. And then each of the 2 teams from the other 2 expansions, A-Force and Defenders. So they took all 8 teams, and this is adding brand new cards for all them teams. So you don't have enough of each team to make a new deck. But it's adding some new cards for each one. So it's a true expansion to the original sets. And then now all the little tinier box sets you get here and there. If they have Avengers, you know, it might be enough to maybe make a deck with those Avengers, or those X-Men, or those Guardian cards, if you have the base game to have all the resource lands, locations. But this does not include in any of that stuff. It's just some new cards. So there's a couple of new things we're going to get in here. We'll definitely check this out. So we're going to get some new level 3 characters, so we'll check out those. Main characters with keywords, which is a new thing they started. Some extra plot twists with loyalty keywords, updated cards on a couple of them. Talked about doing the mantle with Bishop and Hawkeye. And mentioning just all the sets are good and evil. So we're going to get cards for Avengers, Guardians, X-Men, Defenders, and A-Force, which are the good teams. And villains, Underworld, and Femme Fatale, which are the evil teams. And then just a bunch of different stuff on keywords and how some specific effects work. I thought there was something in here that specified. Oh yeah, here, that's what I was looking for. So it says, each team gets 1 new main character. So you're going to have a brand new main character. You're going to have one of the pre-existing characters is going to have a brand new level 2 and level 3. So you can level them up from level 1 to 2 with the existing, or you can swap from their, when you get to level 2, you can pick one of their level 2s. So maybe you want to use the original one because of its ability. Maybe you want to use the new one and then be able to have the chance to level it up to 3. 4 new supporting characters, and 1 new plot twist. So there will be the, you know, what, 4, 5 brand new characters, and then a new plot twist and a reoccurring character for each of the 8 teams. Alright, so we're going to hop in and see what we got here. So we're going to start off with a brand new character. We're going to have the Odinson himself, Thor. So he's going to be, we're going to go through the Avengers. So he starts with the Berserker keyword, which gives him, I believe, is it +1/+1? Yep. Whenever he attacks, he gets a 1/1 counter. Then he has Lightning Strike. You can pay blue during your main to put 3 -1 counters on an enemy character. And then his Worthiness. So he starts off pretty weak, 1/4. But once he's proved he's worthy, by when a good character on your side attacks, he gains an XP, so the more characters that attack, including himself, because he's also a good character, he will level up, and he jumps to a 5/5. Which isn't, it's not like super powerful compared to some of the support characters, but usually the mains aren't, because they don't want him to be outrageous. But he keeps his Berserker, but he's also going to be dropping counters on him every time he attacks. So every time he attacks, he's going to get more and more powerful. And as long as he doesn't get stunned and lose them counters, he'll get pretty beefy. And then he has God of Thunder. Pay a green, double the +1 counters on Thor, and you may double the -1 counters on another character. So if you've already put 3 on one character, you could double that to 6 potentially, and that would take out most guys because that's 6 health. And most support characters don't have that much, but that could also take out most main heroes too. So that could be very devastating if they're not watching that. Alright, so our brand new card is we're going to get a new version of Spider-Man at level 2. So it's going to have, I think it has different artwork. Nope, it's the same artwork. So here's the old one. Yes, it's the same artwork, so that way you can keep track of which Spider-Man is. So he has, he's a 410. He's got greater power. Pay green during combat. Spider-Man gets a +1 card for each base-up supporting character on your side. And then he can use his greater responsibility to level up. At the end of your turn, Spidey gains +1 XP for each base-up support character on your side. So, just to compare that, and I'm not going to do this for every card, I just want to do this as a comparison for at least one of these. So he keeps his greater power ability, stays the same, but now he loses his secondary ability for a level up. So instead he has Friendly Neighborhood. Remove the defender at your side from combat, and switch with Spider-Man, switch their position, so he can hop in and attack. So instead he loses that to gain a his better way to level up. But he also goes from 8 in the original to 10, so he gets 2 extra defense. But then if we go to level 3, now he has 6, and he gets Amazing Friends. Pay a yellow, draw a card for each face-up supporting character on your side. He also gains 1 extra hit point, goes from 5 to 6. So his stats go up quite a bit from either 4 to 8 or 4 to 10 up to 6 to 11. Gains an extra hit point. And his abilities, so instead of being able to switch in and take someone's place, he can draw cards. So that might depend on which version you really want, like which final ability. If you want to be able to swap in and do stuff, this would work for you. If you want your Spider-Man to be more of a support character, like he can draw extra cards for you, then maybe you want to opt to do level 3. And that's how all of these are going to work. So it's not necessarily, ooh, I have a level 3 version, I'm going to always use it. It's 1 extra hit point to stay alive, which is nice. But that's also because you have to spend extra time leveling them up. So I think that's what the draw is. So since you lose an ability in between getting to level up one more time, they give you 1 extra hit point. And you do get some better stats. But sometimes some better stats might not be worth that extra ability. Just depends on how you're playing your deck, which is really nice. A little bit of difference on what you want to do. Alright, so our first supporting character, which we'll get 4 copies of all of these, is Falcon, who has mobile. Once per turn during your main phase, but not during combat, you may move Falcon from your front or back row. And then Sidekick, when Falcon team attacks, put a +1 counter on each other attacker. That's pretty powerful. We're going to get Agent Peggy Carter, Honorary Avenger. You pay 1 less to recruit Avenger characters. It's pretty decent stats for a 2. She has range, and 3-2. I mean, and you get everyone just a cost less, so you can kind of have her sit in the back room, and at least if someone does attack her, she has a chance to shoot back. We're going to get Mockingbird, Martial Mastery, pay a red, choose an enemy's side, and put +1/1 counters on Mockingbird, equal to the number of supporting characters on that side. So if they're beefing up their defenses, she can become really strong. And now this one's a little odd to me, but we have Captain Britain. I would have thought he would have been with the X-Men rather than the Avengers. Not sure on that one exactly, but we have Rule Britannia. When Captain Britain gets powered up, put 2 extra +1 counters on him. So he gets 3, so he goes from 4 to 7. He's pretty powerful, plus his flying and range. And then the Avengers plot twist is going to be Avenge. So the 3 little marks mean you have to have 3 characters out. It has loyalty, so you can only put it in if you have an Avengers only deck, and it's stunning, exhausting, supporting character. It doesn't seem that powerful to me, at least. Definitely, it's always better than not having a stun. Someone uses them, exhaust their character for something, and now you can go ahead and stun them and put damage on them. If they only have 1 health, it takes them out, at least. So it's a free defeat that way. Alright. So those are our Avengers. Now let's look at some X-Men. So our brand new X-Men main character is Cyclops, who has Leader, which gives him, when this character team attacks, you choose who the defender strikes back against. You can kind of choose who to sacrifice. Battle Tactics, pay a red. Move a character in your side to your front or back row. And Homo Superior, 5 to level up. When an X-Men supporting character appears on your side, Cyclops gains an XP. So he wants to amass mutants. And then level 2 becomes Optic Blast. Pay 2 blue, stunning unprotected supporting character other than Cyclops or Havoc. So it's kind of neat because it actually thematically plays with their ability not to be able to hurt each other. It's also neat because it has Cyclops listed. Because you'd be like, because I mean, if you're fighting against someone else named Cyclops, obviously his abilities can't hurt himself. But it also works that if you're playing, eventually the champions will have, have Cyclops, or they have the young X-Men Cyclops, alternate realities, stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that it works that way. I don't know, 2's a lot, but to do it, because that's an unprotected character as well. But again, like I said, the Avenger one, stunning someone in a support character, lots of them only have somewhere between 1 to 3 health typically. So I could take out someone that's kind of hiding in the back. Alright, our next one, we're going to have a level 2 Wolverine, who has Stink. Combat, Wolverine gets +3 attack this combat, and his new level up ability is, what he does isn't very nice. When Wolverine stuns an enemy defender while attacking solo, he gains an XP. Alright, and then his level 3 is going to be Kill Frenzy. When Wolverine stuns an enemy defender while attacking solo, ready him this turn. So there we go. So he can go ahead and stun somebody, then you can turn around and attack, or be ready to attack again. So that's pretty cool. Pretty decent stats there. Again, he gains extra hit point. So our first supporting character is going to be Shadowcat. So we're going to have Intangible Escape. Pay a blue. If attacker or defender is on your side, put Shadowcat next to it and cancel the combat. Use this power only while Shadowcat is in your hand. That's actually really cool that you can play her from your hand. And you just spend one of your things, but that way it prevents someone from taking damage or losing. So if they pump up and you're worried, crap, I'm going to lose this battle. We have Bishop, who has the mantle. So there's another Bishop out there. Top of my head, I can't think of who it is other than Kate Bishop. But you'd think that because I think she's listed either as Kate Bishop or as Hawkeye. So I don't know why they have just Bishop, but I might be missing something. There might be another character named Bishop I just can't think about. Could possibly be from the Alien franchise, because I know they have a Bishop in there. And that just might be, since if that set came out before this one, that could be that. Okay, it says Energy Transference. When you use a blue superpower, put 2+1 counters on Bishop. So that's actually pretty powerful. And then if you also look at the fact is, Cyclops' level 2 uses it, and Shadowcat uses it. So if you have Bishop in play with these other characters, he's gonna have a really good chance of getting his extra 2 counters. And then our next X-Men, not our final, but our next one is Psylocke. So she has Psychic Knight. When Psylocke stuns an enemy defender, that player discards a card. Not bad there. And then for our final X-Men support character, we have Havok, who has Plasma Blast. Again, now we're using them blues. We have to pay 3, stun all supporting characters other than Cyclops and Havok. That's actually pretty crazy because that's every character, not just your opponents. So I mean, like, that could devastate both sides of the field. But then again, if you have Cyclops as like your main character and you play this Havok, and they don't take each other out, that you might have just like 2 characters left, or a bunch of characters that aren't wounded. It could definitely be useful if played right. And then their plot twist is the Gifted and Talented. So it's got the 3 X's, has loyalty, build, draw 2 cards. Just get some extra stuff out there. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, our next hero team, we're going to get a brand new Guardian of the Galaxy. We're going to get Drax, who has lethal. This is when his character stuns a defending supporting character, KO that character. He can call the enemy to taunt them. Pay a yellow, move an enemy supporting character to its front row. And the Destroyer. Level up 4. When Drax KOs an enemy character, he gains XP equal to its health. That's actually pretty crazy because he could potentially, level up in like a turn or 2 easily with that. Just depending on how much health they have. I mean, the first turn he's taking out level 1 characters because every time he stuns them, they're KO'd. They only have 1 health. But yeah, if he gets your opponent plays something a little bit beefier. Alright, then he's gonna have level 2, so he'll have Brutal Strength. Pay a green, put 1/1 counters on Drax equal to the total health of enemy characters that were KO'd this turn. So if you KO a bunch, it doesn't have to be him that KOs them, but if a bunch of people get KO'd, you can definitely boost up your main character, which is not a bad thing. Our next Guardian is level 2 Groot, which says, I am Groot. Pay green in combat. Groot gets +1 combat for each resource on your side, and I am Groot. 3 to level up. When you gain a resource, Groot gains an XP. So you can level up by playing more resources. And then his level up goes from 8/8 to a 10/10. He has 7 health, which I think gives him some of the most health in the game. At least for not weird, odd, high powered, like 10 cost characters. And his new ability is I am Groot. Pay a blue. Put +1 counters on Groot equal to the number of resources on your side. So yeah, you can definitely power him up pretty well. And then the more you can pay for it, the more you can keep doing it. Alright, our first supporting character is we're going to get Charlie 27. So these are the Guardians 3000, or the original Guardians of the Galaxy. He has Jovian Strength. Pay a green. Charlie 27 gains attack and defense until he is 27/27 this combat. So that's crazy, because it's not like he gains, so he has that, it just basically changes him until he's 27/27. I guess it could have just said make him 27, but they didn't. But if they just would have said make him 27/27, like till the end of the turn, then he would have gotten boosts from counters. So this is no matter what, he is going to end the game at 27, or end this turn 27/27. I mean, for a 1-drop, you'll also just be able to do that, pop out, and basically be able to take out anyone he needs to. Plus, it has 3 health, so he can take at least a couple of hits. It's pretty cool. Martinex, who's got Heat Up, pay blue. Stun enemy supporting character that costs 2 or less. And cooldown, pay a blue, exhaust enemy character costs 4 or more. They can't ready until after your next turn. It's a good support character there. Also really fun to realize a lot of characters that are using blue, so they really work well with Bishop if you're doing a mixed deck. We have Starhawk, the one who knows. You may look at the top card of your deck at any time. You may recruit characters and play equipment and plot twists from the top of your deck. So he's got a little, like, precog type ability. And then this one kind of surprised me. I didn't see this coming, but we have the Collector. So he's going to be an Elder of the Universe, which is a special keyword. So if the Collector gets stunned during combat, he doesn't get wounded. So it doesn't matter if he gets stunned. And then add to the collection. Pay a yellow. Collect a supporting character. Remove it from the game. You may only collect a character with a different team affiliation from every other character you've collected this game. So currently, as of like when this set came out, there was only 8 teams. You could only collect up to 8. So it's a lot better if you're playing like a big multiplayer game where everyone has like at least different teams. You're playing 4-player, 4 different teams, or if people have mixed decks, you could potentially have up to all 8 of them. So he can be really good or really bad, because like he doesn't have any attack. He only has 1 defense, so even if he gets stunned, he's not going to get KO'd. To stay on the field, but he's not going to do anything besides removing stuff. And if your opponent's only playing 1 affiliation, you're only going to be able to remove 1 thing at a time. And that's it. So, I don't know, interesting character though. Neat little design. Our plot twist for the Guardians is going to be, you are Groot. In combat, choose a character in the combat to gain +1 cards as combat for each resource on your side. That's actually, yeah, +1. Yeah, it's only for the 1 turn, but still it can boost someone up quite a bit. So that's definitely fun. Alright, and then our 4th set from the base game are the villains. So we're going to get a level 2 first for Green Goblin. That's sadistic choice. Main, yellow, choose an enemy supporting character and stun it unless that player discards a random card. And then Mayhem and Devastation. When an enemy character becomes stunned, Green Goblin gains an XP. Then he gets his level 3 version. His Goblin's Game. Pay a red. Choose a player with no cards in their hand or no supporting cards on their side, KO their main character. So if you can empty their hand, maybe other abilities or sadistic choice, or you can somehow eliminate all their support characters, you can KO them in 1 swoop. Literally with Green Goblin, you swoop down and KO them. That's actually a really fun, like, level 3 ability. Because you could decide kind of, you have to decide though before you pick level 2 if you're going to want to try and get this, because maybe you're like, oh, I don't have enough stuff in my hand to do it, or they have a deck that maybe draws too many cards, or they're playing a lot of cheap support characters, like maybe they're playing something like Agent Shield or something to Swarm, so you can have a lot of characters out, so maybe it's not worth trying to go for this ability. Our new villain is Ultron, who does have Swarm, and he has Iterate, pay a yellow. Put a supporting character named Ultron from your hand or KO pile onto your side. And then all of you against all of me. At the end of each of your turns, Ultron gains... At the end of your turn, Ultron gains XP for each character on your side named Ultron, including himself. And then his level 2 is he has Reiterate. Pay a blue, put up to 2 total support characters named Ultron from your hand and or KO pile onto your side. So that's fun. You can try and come out a bunch. Alright, our first supporting villain is going to be Crossbones. Who's going to have Henchmen, which is a new keyword, I believe. When a villain supporting character appears on your side, put a +1 counter on Crossbones. So he worked nice with Ultron. And Combat Master. When Crossbones is in combat, enemy players cannot play Plot Twist. So he starts out really weak, but he can get beefed up pretty fast. So to counter the Collector, we're going to get the Grand Master. So we have another Elders of the Universe. If Grandmaster gets stunned during combat, he doesn't get wounded. So that's how that keyword works. And enforce the rules of the game. When a supporting character appears other than by getting recruited from a hand, KO it. So he's basically just gonna sit on the field. Like, they can go ahead and hit him to stun him, to flip him over so his ability doesn't work. But then you're basically spending one of your characters every turn trying to keep these abilities. Same thing with potentially the Collector. But that's actually this is actually a little bit better of ability, because it prevents him from doing other stuff, like Ultron's ability, where he just pulls two guys out. He would block Ultron completely. Alright, our next supporting character is Mr. Sinister. Who has Genius. At the start of your turn, draw a card. Genetic Manipulation. With a blue, choose a supporting character to gain either Flying, Ranged, Berserker, Dodge, Ferocious, or Lethal. That's actually pretty cool. The only thing I hate about this entire card is the artwork. The picture is actually really neat. It's a really neat looking picture of Mr. Sinister. Except that's not Mr. Sinister technically. That is from X-Men The End. That is Gambit dressed up as Mr. Sinister. And spoilers for that story is that in that universe, alternate reality, is Gambit is supposed to be like either a clone or a genetic offspring of Mr. Sinister. So that's why he's able to dressed up as part of the plot. I'm not going to go any farther than that because it's not even a huge spoiler. It's in there, but yeah, it's weird that they just picked that as artwork for this card. It's not even the actual character. It's like someone just typed in Mr. Sinister into Google and this is what came out. And then our last supporting character is Onslaught. Cost 8, has stars for health, attack, and defense. Joint Consciousness. When you recruit Onslaught, each player reveals cards from the top of their deck until they reveal a character other than Onslaught. Remove those characters from the game and shuffle the remaining cards into those decks. Onslaught has the power of the removed cards, the base stats equal to their total attack, total defense, and total health. He could be possibly very weak with a bunch of 1/1s. He could be super powerful if people get some nice high number characters in there. Or he could be ultra powerful if you're playing like a 4-player game, because now he's combining 4. And it also says his power, just from the instructions here, it says when you pay to recruit him, but before he appears, this way he will trigger any appear powers on cards he removes from the game as well. So if like anyone has, when they come into play, he gets those abilities as well. You could potentially try and stack the deck a bit before you play him when you have him in your hand, and you maybe like return a certain card to a deck or do this. That would be really mean to do, if you could pull it off. Alright, and then their plot twist for the villains is going to be Steel and Flame. So with three symbols, the loyalty, and main, put 2 -1 counters on each enemy supporting character. Now that's very villainous and very crazy, because that could kill a lot of characters. But that's what villains do, right? Alright, so now we're going to move on to the second expansion sets of characters, the Defenders. So we're going to see what the Defenders can do. So we're going to get a brand new main. We're going to have Jessica Jones, who has Tough, which is this character gets stunned, you may recover it, it still gets a wound. She should always be ready to go. She has limited invulnerability. Pay a green. Jessica can't be wounded this turn. Uses power only once while Jessica is level 1. So she can take a good, decent hit without being hurt, but she can only do it once. So you gotta kind of balance out when's the best time to block. Or will take the damages and avoid it if you want to before you level up. And then stake out. When an enemy character appears, Jessica gains an XP. And then her level 2 is she has limited invulnerability again, but this one says she can only be used once per level 2. So she gets the ability to use it a second time. And then color the suspect. Pay a yellow, look at the enemy player's hand and discard a character card from it. That could be pretty nasty, especially late in the game if they're trying to save up for a high level character. Our level 2 upgrade is Daredevil, the man without fear. Pay a red. Daredevil strikes with double his attack this combat. And then Defender of Hell's Kitchen. When Daredevil gets attacked, if he is protecting a character, he gains an XP. And then his level 3, which he goes from 5'9 to 7'10. So now you could double that to 14 attack. And then Savior of Hell's Kitchen. Pay a yellow. No more attacks can be made this turn. He just shuts it down. That's pretty cool. Alright, we have 4 copies of support character Misty Knight. Detective work. When Misty appears, look at an enemy player's hand. So you could combine that with Jessica so you can see if there's anything at that time maybe worth taking care of. And then Bionic Arm. Pay a green. If Misty Knight is in melee combat, she gets +2/+2 this combat. So that's pretty cool. We have the White Tiger. Mystical Tiger Amulets. While White Tiger has any +1 counters on her, she has the following. At least 1, she gains Leap, which lets her gains flying during your turn. She has Ferocious if she has 2, which lets her attack first. And then 3, she has Lethal, which lets her KO stun characters. Just pretty fun, giving her more counters, gives her some bonuses. Our next one's going to be Jessica Jones, which is our first brand new main character that gets a new supporting, because all the other characters already had supporting characters. So this is the first one that didn't already have one. So she has Tough. When Jessica gets stunned, you may recover her. She still gains a wound. And Psionic Protection. Enemy players can't use yellow superpowers. That's pretty fun. Stop Daredevil from using his ability. You're fighting against him. Alright. And our last one is we have Stick, which makes sense to go with Daredevil. She has Dodge, can't be ranged attacked, and Mentor. When Stick appears, put 2 +1 counters on your main character. If it's Daredevil, I put a weird apostrophe in there, put another 2 +1 counters on him. Definitely a neat ability. Artwork on here, again, is kind of odd. That is, yes, it is Stick. That is not incorrect there. The artwork is from the Contest of Champions. So there's the 2 people on there is Guillotine and Elektra, but this Elektra is like an evil Elektra who's, I think, kind of like taking over the mantle of Bullseye. I'm not 1,000% sure on that. I don't remember the story 100%. I just recognize the artwork. I'm like, yeah, that's Stick from Contest of Champions rather than like the main reality. Speaking of reality, the plot twist is going to be Reality Shift. Has a loyalty, but heal a wound from a character on your side. 1 wound might not seem like much, but if they only have, if they can take 1 extra hit, that's all it needs. Sometimes I'll keep a character alive for another turn. I'll keep your main character alive. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, so then our second team for the Defenders box set is going to be the Underworld. So we have Kingpin level 2. Let's expand the Empire. Pay a green, reveal the top 5 cards from your deck. Put a location among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in any order. And then take over the country. When a location appears on your side, Kingpin gains an XP. He only needs 2, so this could actually happen fairly quick, especially if he uses his ability to at least pull one of them out. And then his level 3, he has Take Over the World. Pay a blue, yellow, and red. Search your deck and KO pile for any number of locations and put them in your resource row. Yes, if you get that, you have to spend 3, but basically you can just stack the rest of your thing up. So not only are you going to have a bunch of resources, so you can buy pretty much anything you want at that point, but you'll have all your locations, so you're going to be able to spend your superpowers. The only thing I wish it had said was it had to be basic locations and not just locations. It's possible they've done an errata of this, but I'm not gonna. I only worry about what the cards say, because if he could only pull out basic and not special locations, that would make it pretty good. Otherwise, you could probably build a deck with him, mixing, matching all different colors, just to have all them special locations out. And also now you have access to like a ton more multiple colored cards, which would be interesting. Alright, now our brand new one, we're going to get Baron Mordor, who has Hex. Hex is an enemy character, can't level up. They can still gain XP. So if something could either shut that off or get rid of him, of course if you get rid of him, then you've won the game. Scarlet Witch had this, but it's not a support character, it's not as bad. But when it's on him, that's terrible. So you have to find a way to shut it off, otherwise they can't level up. And then Mesmerize. Pay a blue, choose a player to discard a random card. You may use this power any number of times on your turn. And then the Black Arts. Whenever an enemy player discards one or more cards, Mordor gains an XP. So at least that's kind of the thing, is if he doesn't pay his ability to force you to discard, you might never have a reason to discard. So he's not going to level up very fast either. And then his level 2, though, he becomes Hypnotize. Pay a yellow, choose an enemy main character, it becomes level 1 until the start of your next turn. So even if you somehow did level them up, because you could stun them and when it's face down, if they have enough points, they'll level up during your turn because that ability turns off. So there is ways around that. It's just, it could definitely do it. But then he can, if you do happen to level up, he can turn you back to level 1, at least for a turn. Even if you're level 3, he can shut you back down to level 1. Which there you have to be careful, because if you're level 3, you gained an extra hit point. So if you only had, if you had 5 and you have 6 health, and he drops you back down, you might drop back down to 5 health and possibly lose the game. So it's actually, devious things from Underworld characters. We have the Leader, who's our first support character, who has leadership. Leader has leader, and all other characters lose and can't gain leader. It's just a fun ability. And then Massive Brain, pay a yellow, choose an enemy player, draw cards, and have as many cards in your hand as that player. Which is fun if you think about the Hulk card. His one side, main character side, I think lets him play banner abilities, so you can draw card, remove number of counters to draw a card. So basically you can kind of treat Hulk like dropping away from the Hulk losing his attack to draw extra cards, and then the leader can be like, aha, Bruce, Hulk, you just drew 6 cards. I'm gonna now gain that many as well, because I'm at least as smart as you. Taskmaster, who's always a fun character. Photographic reflexes. Taskmaster has all printed keyword powers of face-up enemy supporting characters. And keywords are typically just the ones that are like one word. I think so far they've all been one word. And they usually don't have something printed after. Sometimes they'll have reminder text. So that could be definitely interesting. And then we have Mr. Hyde. So, Dr. Kelvin Zabo. Mr. Hyde appears with 5 -1 counters on him. So he starts off as a 5/5, but as you can remove them counters, he can become a 10/10. Or, worst case is, he gets stunned somehow, then he's going to flip back over with his extra health point and be a 10/10. When you stun them, they lose all their counters. And then we have Nightmare as our final supporting character, who has Waking Nightmare. Enemy characters can have and gain -1 counters while stunned. So that's actually really fun. And then their plot twist is going to be not finished yet. This is actually interesting. So it has recovering enemy character. So you're literally picking someone that has been stunned and you're flipping them back over so you can smack them a second time. Again, villainous characters are really mean. Alright. Our next group of characters will be from the A-Force box set, which is the A-Force team, and Singularity. Inspire. Which does... So that was a brand new keyword. And... okay, when another character appears on your side, put a +1 counter on it. So basically, as you gain more people, they'll gain more powers. She has Envelop. Reaction, pay a blue. When a supporting character on her side gets KO'd, put it in your hand. So if you need to keep someone. And find her friends. At the start of your turn, when there are 5 or more characters with the same team affiliation on your side, Singularity gains an XP. So she starts off as just a support character. You play characters, they're going to gain bonuses. If you're worried about them dying, you can pay some resources to save them. And then when you finally have 5 guys out, she's going to level up. When she levels up, she stays at 0, but she gains 7. Still has Envelop. She has Gravity Vortex. Pay a yellow, putting enemy supporting character into its owner's hand. So that's kind of interesting. You're playing a main character that's only a support character. But that's a fun way this game works. Our next character is going to be a level 2 She-Hulk. A-Force Assemble. Pay a red. When characters on your side team attack the next time this turn, put a +1 counter on each of them. And keep fighting. When characters on your side team attack, She-Hulk gains an XP. And she's going to jump up to a 7/9 with 7 health. With Welcome to the Team, search your deck for 2 characters with the same team affiliation and reveal them and put them in your hand. And it's an honor to be the first main character with flavor text. I'm not really sure why she has the 4th wall breaking thing, but she does. Our first support character is going to be Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, who has the mantle. This, again, the mantles are the little stars, just to show off that both her and Clint Barton are both Hawkeyes, but they're different Hawkeyes. So you can have Clint Barton Hawkeye and Kate Bishop Hawkeye out at the same time. They can't power each other up, because even though they're both named Hawkeye, they're not the same person. I love this artwork. This is from Volume 2 of Young Avengers. Some really interesting artwork. And a cool story. So quick draw. When Hawkeye is ranged attacking an enemy character can't strike back at her. So she gets some. Then we're going to get Squirrel Girl. So So Squirrel Girl is going to have, if I can find them, she has some token characters. Just trying to find them. They put them at the end here. Let's get nuts. When Squirrel Girl appears, you may put a Monkey Joe token on your side. When Squirrel Girl recovers, you may put Tippy Toe token on your side. So if you put a Monkey Joe in, he's going to be a 0/1/1 cost token, so you can't pay him normally, sits outside the game. Cover Squirrel. Squirrel Girl has +2 defense when she's on your side. Squirrel Interrupted. When Squirrel Girl leaves your side and leaves play, KO Monkey Joe. So if she's not around, you gotta get rid of her. And the other one's Tippy Toe, which will be Squirrel Girl has +2 attack, which is on your side, if she leaves. So if you get both of them out, you're going to get +4 stats overall. And again, how to get them out is when she appears, you put Joe in, Monkey Joe, to give you that extra 2 defense. And when you recover, you get to put Tippy Toe in. And then if someone takes them out, because they might decide to take out Squirrel Girl rather than taking out a 5/5 Squirrel Girl, they can take out our support characters. She's not going, unless something makes her reappear, she won't get Monkey Joe back, but she can keep getting Tippy Toe back every time she recovers, which will happen multiple times. Alright, then we have Spider-Gwen, who is still Spider-Gwen at this point. She has not become Ghost Spider. So we have Dodge. Spider-Gwen can't be ranged attack. And Dimensional Wristwatch. You may recruit Spider-Gwen from your deck. Search your deck for her and shuffle your deck, then recruit her. So basically how this ability works is she says, while she's in your deck, announce that you're recruiting her, then search your deck for her, shuffle it, and then pay to recruit her. No, you may only announce that you're recruiting her if she's actually in your deck. So you can't say, I'm going to recruit Spider-Gwen, and then search your deck, and then be like, oh, I guess I don't have her in my deck. She was in my discard pile, or I didn't actually put her in here. So you can't use it as a fake reason to search your deck for something to reshuffle it. But you can definitely use it to, like, pull her out. So if you know you have it, 4 costs, like, oh, let me do it. You also can't say you're going to recruit her if you only have, like, on turn 1. Like, you actually have to be able to pay for her. But that's a really interesting, fun ability. Spider-Gwen has some weird stuff with her. Up next, we have Crystal. This will be our last support character, who has Elemental Master. Crystal has a following for each basic location type on your side. So either flying, range, +5 attack, or +5 defense. So she can be a 10/10 flying range character if you have the right stuff out. Alright, then the A-Force plot twist will be Ready for Anything. Ready each character on your side. So that's a really fun, nice thing to do. Again, really support team. Alright, and our last team we're going to have are the Femme Fatales. We're going to get a level 2 Mystique, who has Masquerade. Pay a red, choose another face-up character. Mystique gains attack this combat until her attack is the same as that character's. And then, still bigger, when Mystique gains attack, she gains that much XP. Alright, and then her level 3, which has a really fun ability, she gains 5 attack out of this. Or she gains 4, she had 1. So she actually becomes a very viable attacker as well. Plus she can gain more from Masquerade. And it says Identity Theft. Pay a yellow, choose a level 2 Marvel main character from outside the game. Mystique transforms into that character. So what you do with this ability is when you first start the game, if you're using Mystique, because when you start the game out, you have to show your opponent all of your characters. So if you're playing with this Mystique, you have to show the level 1 Mystique, of course, then the level 2, and if you want level 3. If you're using, you can have both level 2s in your pile, and then when you get the choice to level up, you can pick which one you want to do. If you pick the original, you won't be able to level to 3. If you pick the new one, you can level to 3. But then with her special ability, you pick 4 other main characters, level 2s. You put them face down. Your opponent does not have to know which ones they are. So she can become one of 4 any other random characters you own from any different affiliation or whatever. But you don't have to reveal them at any time to your opponent. Even when you select one, you select it, you just change her into that one. And that's what she becomes. So that's pretty interesting. But then you keep all your new counters on the new one, same orientation, all that stuff. Any new effects apply. It says now if you're playing with friends, the rules do stay. If you're playing just casually at home, you can actually just pick anything. You can like look in your collection, like I'm gonna take this character. It says if you're playing a tournament, I was wrong, I said 4, it's only 3. You have 3 options. I would stick with that rule regardless, like you're building this deck to play with a friend, I'd say you have to pick 3 of them ahead of time, versus being like, oh, I'm going to search through my box and find out who I want, because that kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage over who you're playing against, because you could be like, oh, I see, they're doing this. I know that this particular character has an ability. You know, that's just me, though. Alright, then our new main character is going to be Electra, who has Dodge, Ninja Training, Pay a Red. Electra gains Stealth this turn. She can melee attack the back row characters, even while they're protected. And then Assassination. When Electra stuns a back row enemy defender, she gains an XP. And then when she levels up, her Assassination becomes a really weird ability. So it's called Hand Experience. Pay a yellow. Put Electra into her owner's hand and set aside any counters on her. At the start of their next turn, put her into the side with those counters. So basically, she can disappear off the field for an entire turn, which should definitely keep her alive. The only thing that is weird about this is if she gets into your hand and then during your opponent's turn they make you discard a card and it ends up being Electra, you lose the game. So yeah, it's really neat ability, but it has a really interesting drawback to it. Alright, our first support character is Calypso, which I did not expect to see Calypso in the game, especially not this early on. That is definitely 90s art, right there, like early 90s. Voodoo, so Calypso, just a little backstory. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but this is Kraven the Hunter, Spider-Man villain's wife, which is why she also has kind of like the tiger printed vest. So Voodoo Potion. When Calypso appears, you may remove all +1 counters from a character. So Electra is going to be the other character in this set that gains a support, because she didn't have one before. At least not in the Femme Fatale set. She might have had one in the Defender set, possibly. So we have Dodge. Electra can't be ranged attack. Stealth can make melee attack the back row even while they're protected. And then Paid Assassin. When Electra kills an enemy row defender, draw a card. We're going to have Lilith, who has Vampirism. When Lilith kills an enemy character and survives, remove that character from the game. Lilith has +1 overall health for each character removed this way. So she doesn't heal, but she keeps gaining extra health. So if you knock out a few characters, she could become pretty darn powerful. Our final support character is going to be Hela. Touch of Death. Pay a green. If all enemy characters are stunned, put 5 +1 counters on Hela. I mean, stun everyone, she's going to gain a huge bonus. And then our final plot twist is going to be Fatal Attraction. Main, put 3+1 counters on a character. Just boost someone right up. Which again could work really well with some of these characters in here, like Lilith. For Vampirism, she can keep KOing people because she's strong, she'll stay in the game longer. Or like Elektra there because she can stealth attack. Or even Hela, give her 3 more counters, makes her a 5. Definitely crazy. So then the last couple of cards we're going to have were a couple of reprints. So we're going to get 4 copies of Cosmo. So this is they just adjusted this ability, or adjusted his stuff. So Cosmo's nullified power only lasts 1 turn. So it says when Cosmo appears, choose an enemy character, it loses and can't gain keywords or superpowers this turn. So at the bottom down here for the set number, it's going to have the base set and that little asterisk at the end, showing that it's replacing that card. So yeah, if you're playing with friends, you can choose whatever version you want. I would highly recommend use the updated version. Like if you have them, that's why they're sending them out. But if you're playing in a tournament, they're gonna make you have to use this version, even if you have the old one. So be wary of that. But yeah, I think before his ability just worked. Or like when it hit, it was like you pick a character and they just lose their ability. I think it was the idea is to be until Cosmo leaves play, but now instead it's just for 1 turn. Which the other way, it was definitely a really interesting idea because it focused on you having to take out Cosmo, and now it's just kind of like he comes in. We just stop them for a turn, and then you go on with play. I prefer the other version. But you're going to get 4 copies of him to replace him. The next one we're going to get is replacement for Thanos, main character. So what they adjusted on him is he has a tougher level up ability and a weaker Infinity Gauntlet, which is his main ability. Basically, he was too easy to get out, and his main ability was too powerful. Or it was, yeah, it was too easy to level up, and his main ability was too powerful, so they just reduced it. So we have Court Death, shuffle each character in a KO pile into its deck, then put that many +1 counters on Thanos. And his level up is when an enemy character gets KO'd, he gains an XP. And then his other ability was the Infinity Gauntlet, so pay yellow, blue, green, and red for each enemy player, stun their main character, KO one of their resources, KO one of their supporting characters, and discard a random card. So that is pretty powerful in and of itself. Let's see if I can find that villain card quick just to compare it. What they also did though with these, whenever they reprint an alternate card, they give them different artwork, and that's just so you don't get the two confused. So this is the new artwork for Thanos, this is the old artwork. So he still has Courting Death, which is the same thing, but his Mega Titan ability used to be when a character on any side gets KO'd, he gains an XP. Now it's only when an enemy character gets KO'd. Yeah, so that is going to make it harder to level up because you have to take out your opponents. Versus the original, you could just sacrifice your own characters. Like play a bunch of 1/1s of sacrificing to get his second form out quicker. And then here's his new one. Versus his original ability, which also pays for it. Says for each enemy player, stun their main character, KO one of their resources, KO one of their supporting characters, and they discard their hand, which is pretty devastating. So, they still have to stun their main character. They still KO one of their resources. They also KO their one of their supporting characters, but they only have to discard a random card versus discard in their hand. Because that already reducing a resource, reducing a support character, and stunning their main character are all pretty powerful, but then also leaving them with no hand. Yeah, that's pretty devastating. So like they didn't like nerf him a ton. They just they just nerfed him enough. Which is pretty interesting. What did I do with their card? Alright, so then there's one last card that we have. And that is a promo card that came in the set. And it's Wolverine. So it's just alternate artwork Wolverine. And this is one of these ones that's like a first edition card. So if you bought this set or you get one of the first printings of it, you might get it. It's not going to be guaranteed in every box. It's just an alternate art. So like here's the original level 3 Wolverine. And there is the new one. Which looks pretty cool. It has a little asterisk at the bottom just to let you know that it is alternate. It also then has the extra yellow line showing that it's from a promo set. And they do that because when you talk about not having the same character, like in the game, you can't have the same characters with the same set numbers. So when they do promos, they didn't want to just replace them with promo numbers, so they added a second one in there. Alright, that is what we have for this Versus set Legacy. So if you bought the core set and the 2 expansions and you're looking at adding some extra stuff, now you're going to definitely be able to look at and see if you think this is worth it. Extra supporting characters, alternate main characters. Plot twists are a little hit or miss here, but still having an extra option is nice. Yeah, I don't really know what else they could have added. I mean, I would have said they could have added like an extra special location for each team, but then going forward, every one of these teams would have 2 locations versus every other team having 1, so I get why they didn't do that. The only other thing I would have maybe loved if they would have done is added equipment, like 1 equipment card per team, just because there's not enough equipment in the game, and it would have been neat. But this, I think this came out before equipment cards were introduced in this version. You can see I got another set back there. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.